Okay.
I feel like making things difficult on myself. I'm doing another spontaneous video that I haven't thought through. So, fear of heights. So spontaneous. So, thinking through this out loud. Fear of heights. And I'm going to pick two things to focus on. Skydiving. Don't worry, there's no air footage or in-air footage. Versus bungee jumping. And there is no in-air footage. Because I know a lot of people are afraid of heights, so myself included, if I'm afraid of heights and I'm not going to go skydiving or I'm not going to go bungee jumping, I'm not about to watch somebody else's video about skydiving. So that's why I'm not including the footage. I have both my skydive and my bungee jump on video. I did both those things in Africa though, and so that does not mean DVDs from Africa can be read in the United States of America with the technology we have here. So that is why they have not been uploaded to video, and I'm kind of grateful for that in hindsight, because I get to take this approach to talking about these two things. So, fear of heights. I'm afraid of heights, and I was the kid that would go to camp or go to PE class, physical education. They had like one of the horizontal rock walls, and I was the kid that was so afraid of heights I would not go above 3 or 4 feet off the ground. I was just like, no, I don't care. They'd put mats down in case we fell off, and I was just like, no. I didn't even like 3-foot tall ladders. Like, I'm like, the ladder's gonna fall and stuff like that. And no, it's not really a fear of falling. It's a legit fear of heights, which I guess kind of explains why I was able to do both of these things. Is, well, they were high, but it's also falling, so it's not so scary as the heights thing, because the heights thing is just like kind of a and then jump and voila. And so skydiving, I'm gonna put this in order for me chronologically. So the first thing I did was bungee jumping from the highest bungee bridge in the world. Yeah, so I started with the biggest. Why? It was my biggest fear in life to go bungee jumping. It was the only thing that was like, I know for sure I will not do this in my life. For certain, I will not do this in my life, because knowing me, I'd probably die. And that's off the charts on fear level. So how did I do it? Well, I was living in Africa, and when living in Africa, like, there were cobras and other poisonous snakes, and just situations that arose that did not arise do not arise in the United States of America. And so there was a bit of I could die walking. Like, I literally got chased by a big group of monkeys, and monkeys carry different, like, vervet monkeys. They were like small monkeys too. It's not some big, baboon chasing me. It was like these tiny little vicious monkeys with teeth and nails that could bite me and give me some disease and I could die, kind of thing. And so I'm like, when I can walk to the gym and like there's a puff adder or a king cobra on the trail and I could get bitten and I could die, bungee jumping isn't so scary. It's like, well, it's a better way to go out than just like I got attacked by a bunch of monkeys on my way to class, or on the way to the gym. And so I went bungee jumping because one of my friends did it, and she didn't want to go alone, and she was from the United States too, and there was a bit of a, oh, come on, we can do this, we're Americans kind of thing, which is like, it was not a spontaneous choice. It was, we bought our tickets in advance. I think it was about a month in advance. I'm not certain about that. And so I'm really happy I bought the ticket in advance, because it gave me time to be like, to get myself into the mindset to actually do it. And the really, really cool thing, and so that was it, was kind of the, well, I could die any day, and making that realization of, this is kind of a better way to go, and all I have to do is jump off a bridge, which actually, there's a lot of things. So like, there are swings you can do that are on cords and stuff like that, and people will release you and you're released off. Bungee jumping is different, because I actually myself had to jump off the bridge. If you do not jump off the bridge, they count down, so like 3, 2, 1, bungee. If you do not jump off the bridge, they will push you off the bridge. I did not get pushed off the bridge, and I am so proud of myself for that. I had the courage to jump off the bridge myself, which, if I'm remembering correctly, it was over 400 feet that I dropped. It's tall. It's not like a 100 or 200 foot. It was big. And so it was Bloukrans, South Africa, and so I did it there, and that was terrifying. And bungee jumping is very, very different than skydiving in one way, and that is, bungee jumping, you're not in the air long enough for air resistance to kick in, so there is no drag. So like, that you feel, you don't reach a terminal velocity and then kind of like slow down or anything like that. You just keep falling. And so there's no wind resistance and kind of a push up with skydiving. Skydiving is a lot less intense, or a lot less scary in the actual fall itself than bungee jumping. And because it actually feels supported from underneath from all the air, versus bungee jumping, that doesn't happen. And then what else? Oh, bungee jumping, you get, if you want to experience zero gravity on Earth, you can actually do that on the bungee jumping. So the bungee goes down, I went down, the bungee pulls you back up, and then you snap a few times. So and that's pretty close to whiplash, is you go down, the cord stretches really far, and then you get pulled the other way. So you get pulled back up. It's not just a down, it's down, up, and you do that a couple times, or I did that a couple times. Depends a bit on the height of the drop. Ours, the jump was high enough that I actually went like that a few times. And so then once the cord stretches and snaps you back up, you reach a point where you're like in midair, and like you can try and move or try, like, but you're not going up and you're not going down. You are like right there. And it's a really weird feeling. And then you snap back down. And so if you're not one for whiplash, bungee jumping might not be one for you. I am glad I did it in this order, because once I did bungee jumping and I survived, I did not pee my pants, I did not anything like that. They asked us when we got back up, so you'd be hanging upside down. Bungee jumping is done in a body harness, so the weight isn't just on your legs. And so we were hanging upside down once we stopped going like this, and then got pulled back up. And the first question was, are you dry? Like, are you wet? That kind of thing. So, and no, I was not wet. I was dry, which means I did not pee myself. So there were these things that I had no idea, like, where actually could be a thing. And I was like, I actually did bungee jumping in flying colors. Skydiving doesn't sound so bad now. And it's funny, because it's not so much, at least for the bungee jump I did. If it's a smaller bungee jump, like only 1 or 2 or 300 feet, not like 400, skydiving could still be really scary, and it might still be, even if you've done a 400 foot plus. It might not be 400 feet, that seems really high, but I think it still is the largest bungee bridge jump in the world, commercially anyway. So skydiving was not so scary, especially if it's a tandem jump. Then I'm strapped into someone, and it's just kind of like, well, I've already bungee jumped, and I was still living in Africa, so the same mindset applied. I would say there's definitely more of a rush with skydiving than bungee jumping. Bungee jumping, I left as like, I'm okay having only done this once. Skydiving, I left being like, it'd be really fun to do this more and to actually learn to do it myself kind of thing. So there's maybe a skill aspect to it where it's like, people actually do this in the military and stuff like that. So it'd be, even like for non-military reasons, it'd be cool to be able to do it on my own with a parachute and stuff. And not that I pursued that, I haven't, but for me, it was not as scary as bungee jumping. Bungee jumping was just like, and maybe I shouldn't have done the biggest bungee bridge in the world, but I'm happy I did. And oh, what one is falling towards matters a lot. Like skydiving, we could see water, or I could see water where I went skydiving. It was by Cape Town, South Africa, and we landed like in sand and stuff like that. And so that's not very scary. Bungee jumping, it was this valley, rock valley, with a trickle of a stream in the bottom. So I'm like, if the bungee breaks, I'm gonna hit rock. So that was a lot more terrifying. So again, the skydiving just was not so scary as the bungee jumping. So I'm happy I did it in this order as opposed to doing it the other way. I don't really know if that answers a question or seeks the, that's the video. Yeah, spontaneous videos.